what if the main reason you haven't succeeded online yet isn't because you aren't working hard enough? What if it's actually because you care way too much about the results?
Yeah, I mean, it is the ultimate paradox of the internet economy.
Right.
Because the default state for anyone stepping into an online business or like a new creative project is usually one of two extremes.
Okay.
You either have this total forceful aggression where you try to wrestle an outcome into existence,
Yeah.
or complete obsession where you just let the project consume your entire identity.
Oh, definitely. You see it all the time.
But what we are looking at today suggests that the most productive mindset is actually something completely counterintuitive.
Yeah, so today we are doing a deep dive into some excerpts from the text, The Power of Detached Urgency in the Digital Economy. And our mission here is to uncover the exact mindset required to thrive in a, well, what they call a winner-take-all internet economy.
Exactly.
And the text introduces this core concept called detached urgency. And okay, let's unpack this. Because the moment I first came across this phrase, it felt super contradictory.
It does sound like an oxymoron, yeah.
Right. Like, usually when you are urgent about something, you are heavily attached to it. If it's urgent, you care a lot.
Naturally, yeah.
But this source defines the ideal mindset as caring deeply about your execution, but remaining almost entirely detached from any single outcome.
Which is really hard to do in practice.
It is. Think about it like, okay, imagine you're a driver in a high-speed auto race. You are flying down the track, so the urgency is definitely there. It's undeniable.
Right.
But if you grip that steering wheel too tightly, if your knuckles are completely white and you are just desperately focused on not hitting the wall,
You end up oversteering.
exactly, you jerk the wheel, you lose your flow, and you crash. To actually win the race, you need a relaxed grip. You have to be moving incredibly fast, but your hands have to be detached from the panic of the speed.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And the reason that tight grip causes a crash is because it completely removes your ability to adapt. When we look at the broader digital economy, I mean, the internet is an environment that structurally rewards speed, volume, and constant iteration. The algorithms favor those who publish often.
Right. The market favors those who test products constantly.
Exactly. But at the exact same time, it is an environment that actively, almost brutally, punishes emotional attachment to any single piece of work.
Okay, but I have to push back on that word urgency for a second, because doesn't urgency naturally imply a state of panic or desperation? Like, if my house is on fire, I have an urgent need to leave.
Sure.
I'm definitely not detached about my house burning down, you know?
No, of course not.
So how can someone realistically be both urgent and completely detached at the same time when it comes to, like, their livelihood or their passion project?
Well, you do it by understanding the catastrophic effect that desperation has on your actual workflow. There is a massive difference between moving fast with purpose and moving fast out of fear. When you operate from a place of desperation, meaning you feel you absolutely need this one specific video to go viral, or you need this one launch to hit a specific revenue goal.
Your behavior immediately changes.
Yes.
You hesitate.
Oh man, the hesitation is so real. I mean, you literally just sit there with your finger hovering over the publish button for like 3 days.
Because you were terrified of it failing.
Right.
You start over-optimizing every little detail, convinced that changing the font color one more time will be the difference between massive success and total ruin.
Yeah.
And perhaps most dangerously, desperation creates this intense vulnerability to shiny object syndrome.
Oh, absolutely. I want you, the listener, to pause and think about that for a second. Think about a time when you fell victim to shiny object syndrome. Was it because you were genuinely curious about a new platform, or was it because you were feeling desperate for a quick result?
That's the real question. Because I know I've done it. You spend weeks building out a strategy, you launch it, it doesn't work immediately.
Right, on day one.
Yeah, on day one. And suddenly, you are completely rebranding, or you're switching from writing articles to making short-form video because you are just desperate for that dopamine hit of success.
And the neurobiology of that is fascinating, actually. The brain actively craves the dopamine of a new idea because executing an old idea has just become a slog.
Yeah, it's hard work.
But the antidote to that cycle, according to the text, is the relaxed grip. It's detachment.
Detaching from that immediate result.
Exactly. When you are detached from the outcome of any single piece of work, you gain a massive competitive advantage. You can ship your work fast, you can learn from the data fast, and most importantly, you can pivot faster than the person who is emotionally paralyzed by their last failure.
It's really the transition from defining yourself by the end result to defining yourself by the speed of your learning.
Precisely.
And to actually build this mindset, the author outlines a framework. 3 pillars. We have to completely re-engineer how we view success. Which brings us to the first pillar, process over outcome.
Right.
The source gives a great example here. It's about celebrating the statement, I posted daily for 30 days, rather than lamenting the statement, I made $0 this month.
And what's fascinating here is how this ties into a fundamental economic concept, the difference between leading and lagging indicators.
Okay, break that down for us.
So results, like your income, your follower count, your view metrics, those are all lagging indicators.
Right. They happen after the fact.
Exactly. They are the delayed result of past actions. You cannot directly control a lagging indicator on a random Tuesday afternoon. If you check your bank account and want the number to be higher, you can't just press a button to change it.
I wish.
We all do. But the process, the daily actions, the hours spent writing, the emails you sent, those are leading indicators.
Oh, okay.
That is the only place where you have absolute 100% control.
It's like planting a garden, right? You can control the process perfectly. You can go out there, you can water the seeds every single day, you make sure they get sunlight, you pull the weeds, that's your process.
Yep.
But you cannot scream at the dirt and expect the tomatoes to grow any faster.
No, you really can't.
The outcome is the outcome. All you can do is hold yourself accountable to the watering can.
And that is detached urgency in a nutshell. You care urgently about watering the seeds today, but you are detached from whether the tomato appears tomorrow.
That makes total sense. But focusing on your own daily process is incredibly difficult when you look up and see competitors seemingly dominating the space.
Oh, for sure, the comparison trap.
Which brings us to pillar 2, abundance over scarcity. And I have to push back on the text here for a minute.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because earlier, the source calls the internet a winner-take-all economy. But then it tells us to embrace abundance. How can both be true? If it truly is winner-take-all, that literally means if someone else wins, I lose. It means the pie is finite. How do we resolve that contradiction?
The tension there is very real, but it requires a shift in how you fundamentally define the nature of the internet itself.
Okay.
While certain social media feeds or highly specific niches might feel like they have a winner-take-all dynamic in the short term regarding, like, algorithmic attention,
Right.
the fundamental reality of the internet is that it is infinite.
Infinite in what way, though? Like infinite attention? Because people only have 24 hours in a day.
Infinite in its capacity for human connection and niche creation. A competitor's win does not shrink your pie.
Really?
Yes. When you operate with scarcity, seeing someone else succeed in your field feels like a direct threat.
Yeah.
It feels like they just stole your potential customers.
Completely. It's an awful feeling.
But an abundant mindset recognizes that their success is actually serving a highly valuable, vital function for you. It is validating that your market actually exists.
Oh, wow. Okay, so if I see someone launching a newsletter about, I don't know, antique watch repair, and it completely blows up and gets 50,000 subscribers.
Right.
I shouldn't think, well, they took all the watch people, I missed my chance. I should think, awesome, there are definitely thousands of people eager to read about antique watches. The water is warm, time to jump in.
Exactly. They just spent their own time, their own money, and their own energy proving that your audience is out there waiting.
That is wild.
There's a reason to be energized, not discouraged. It completely removes the guesswork for you.
That is a massive paradigm shift. It turns your rivals into your scouts. They are out there testing the terrain for you.
Beautifully put, yes.
Okay, so we're focusing on the daily process, like watering the garden. And we are viewing the infinite internet with abundance by seeing competitors as market validation.
Right. Those are the first 2 pillars.
But then we hit the third pillar, which deals with the brutal reality of just being a human being. Because abundance and process are great in theory, but human motivation is deeply flawed.
It is. Which is why pillar 3 is systems over willpower. Relying on an abundant mindset alone will eventually fail, because the blunt, inescapable truth of any long-term endeavor is that motivation fades. Always.
It really does. You wake up on day 1, you are ready to conquer the world, you have your perfectly color-coded notebook.
Oh yeah, the new notebook feeling.
Exactly. But by day 14, you are exhausted, the dog is sick, your coffee spilled, and you just want to go back to bed.
And if you rely on sheer willpower to get your work done on day 14, you will lose to the person who relies on systems.
because systems don't care if the dog is sick.
Right. The text gives specific examples of what does not fade when your motivation disappears. Things like a strict content calendar,
Yeah.
automated analytics, daily non-negotiable routines.
Okay.
These are structures that exist entirely outside of your emotional state. They're designed for your inevitable failure. You have to build a system assuming that future you will be tired, grumpy, and unmotivated.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. The concept of decision fatigue plays a huge role here, doesn't it?
Massive role.
Because when you build a system, say a strict rule where every Tuesday morning you write for 2 hours and every Thursday you publish no matter what, you are actually taking the emotion completely out of the equation.
Exactly. You don't have to wake up and ask yourself, do I feel inspired today? What exactly should I work on today?
The system simply tells you what to do, and by removing that decision-making process, you are actively protecting your own mental energy.
The human brain burns a significant amount of physical energy just making choices. The more choices you have to make about what to do, the less cognitive energy you have available for actually executing the task.
Decision fatigue is a real measurable drain. Think about your own current projects right now. How much of your daily work relies on you just feeling like it?
It's a dangerous game to play.
It really is. If the answer is a lot, then you are relying on willpower, and that is a highly fragile way to operate. You need systems that carry you forward even on the days you actively want to quit.
But, and the text is very clear on this, even the best systems require maintenance.
Right. Which brings us to the final part of our deep dive, the maintenance toolkit. How to survive the long game. Because if we are running this high-speed, systemized machine with detached urgency, how do we keep the engine from simply blowing out?
Well, the cultural narrative around online business, the whole hustle culture thing, tells us that the best builders never sleep.
Right, the idea that if you take a day off, someone else is outworking you.
But functionally, that destroys the machine. The first practice in the toolkit is taking deliberate breaks.
So it's not a sign of weakness.
Not at all. It's a mechanical necessity. The best builders know when to step away before burnout hits. Recognizing your own biological and psychological limits is a professional skill.
I love that. Deliberate breaks are a core component of the system, not a failure of it.
Because if you refuse to schedule your maintenance, your body will eventually schedule it for you.
Oh, usually at the worst possible time.
Exactly. Usually in the form of a total physical or mental collapse.
Your body will just hit the emergency brake, and then you're out of commission for a month instead of just taking a weekend off to recharge.
Right. So we protect our physical energy with breaks. But what about the mental train? The text also focuses heavily on comparison filters.
Yeah, because even with an abundance mindset, it is incredibly easy to fall into the trap of envy when you're just scrolling through social media.
It's very easy to say I won't be jealous, but when you look at a top creator who has been building their audience for 10 years, it is inherently intimidating.
It totally is.
So the most protective metric you can use is benchmarking against last month's you rather than today's top creator.
Last month's you, I love that phrasing. Like, did I write one more page than last month? Did I reach one more person? Did I improve my lighting setup by just 5%?
Yeah, that is the only metric that actually reflects your own growth.
If you compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, you're just mathematically setting yourself up for misery.
It's an illogical comparison. It serves no functional purpose other than to drain the exact energy you need to execute your daily process.
Which leads right into the feeling of anxiety. When you are feeling overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the internet or the mountain of work ahead of you, anxiety is the natural result.
But the text points out that anxiety lives entirely in the future. It lives in the unknown outcomes, those lagging indicators we discussed earlier.
Right.
The way to combat that, the third maintenance practice, is realizing that progress lives in the present. Small wins daily. By completing one tiny, undeniable task, formatting a single document, sending one email, editing one paragraph, you ground yourself back in the immediate process.
The quote from the text is, "Progress is the antidote to anxiety." Stacking those tiny completions proves to your own brain that you are moving forward. You aren't stuck.
Exactly.
But I think the biggest hurdle that prevents people from making that progress is the fourth practice here, the whole perfectionism trap, the absolute terror of putting something out there that isn't flawless.
And this circles back perfectly to the core difference between speed and emotional attachment.
How so?
Well, if you are emotionally attached to your work being a flawless reflection of your own self-worth, you will never release anything until it is perfect, which means you will tweak it forever in the dark.
Well, the detached creator has already launched, failed, learned, and launched again.
Exactly.
The rule is, done is better than perfect. Ship ugly, fix later. It makes me think of an analogy.
Let's hear it.
Okay, imagine you need to figure out if people actually want to cross a really treacherous river. You have two options. You can spend 3 years drawing up blueprints, securing millions in funding, and pouring tons of pristine, reinforced concrete to build a beautiful, flawless suspension bridge.
The perfect bridge.
The perfect bridge. Or you could spend one afternoon tying together some cheap rope and duct tape to make a really ugly, terrifying little footbridge.
Just bare bones.
Yeah. Now, if you build the ugly rope bridge and absolutely nobody even attempts to cross it, well, you just saved yourself 3 years of pouring concrete for a bridge that nobody wants.
Right. You ship the ugly rope bridge just to see if the demand is there.
Exactly. If 1,000 people line up to cross the rope bridge, then you go build the concrete one. But why do we naturally refuse to build the rope bridge? Why are we so obsessed with the concrete?
It is entirely ego.
Yeah.
And it's fear. Most people never even start because the prospect of being publicly judged for an ugly rope bridge is terrifying to their ego.
Yeah.
They are intimidated by the perceived perfection of the competitors around them. But the people who actually survive and thrive in this space aren't necessarily the smartest, and they aren't the luckiest.
No.
They are simply the ones who treat competition and early failures as information rather than intimidation.
Information, not intimidation. That loops right back to the beginning. Your competitors are just giving you data. Your ugly launches and failed projects. Just giving you data. It's all just feedback to help you steer the car without gripping the wheel too tightly.
They absorb that information, they adjust their daily process, and they keep showing up with a calm, consistent energy. Not frantic hustle, not desperate, white-knuckled panic. Calm, consistent energy.
So what does this all mean? For you, listening to this right now, it means that to win in a fast-paced, high-stakes digital economy, you actually have to stop trying so hard to force the win. You have to loosen your grip on the steering wheel.
Absolutely.
You care deeply about doing the work today, watering the garden, hitting publish, sticking to your non-negotiable systems, but you completely detach your self-worth from what the analytics dashboard says tomorrow.
You protect your energy.
Right. You protect your energy by taking breaks, you measure yourself only against who you were last month, and you trust that daily progress will cure your anxiety.
It is a profound shift, really, from seeking validation to seeking education. Every action you take is just an experiment, and the results are just neutral data points guiding your next move.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over, especially regarding that ship ugly, fix later philosophy. It's a provocative idea to wrestle with on your own time.
Okay.
If the digital economy absolutely demands that we constantly ship ugly just to gather data and learn fast, at what point do you finally permit yourself to build something beautiful? Or does the relentless, infinite pace of the internet mean that perfection is just an illusion we use to hide our own hesitation?
Wow. A question that fundamentally challenges how we view our own work.
Something to think about the next time you find yourself over-optimizing that one little detail. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep your grip loose, keep your energy calm, and we will see you next time.